Okay, I'm going to try something different. What I did was I did a Google map and used the 3D function of the map and went down over a freeway, and there's an airport in the back, and I'm going to edit it and add 3D objects to it and see what I come up with. So I think first I'm going to add some trees just to go in front of these trees that come up in the I don't know how to say it. They're kind of 3D, but they don't look like real trees. They're just polygons that are raised up and have a tree texture on it, or however they do it in creating their map. So I'm gonna go into my folder here. I have some outdoor stuff and I have some Fink stuff. So let me find my outdoors. And I have his bushes, and I have a whole bunch. So let me just add them all on here. All right, so I did add a camera already. So there's the scale, and I have my ground setting right here, so it's at the same angle as the freeway. And what I can do is move these bushes a little tinier than those trees there, but from this distance I can enlarge them, and you'll never tell that they're not trees and that they're bushes. So let's just get some lined up here in front. I ended up with the free rotate, so let's go back into my view here. Now you see that one back there is probably the one I moved, so let me get to an angle where I can grab this handle here, and let's just move it over here. We're going to do like an apocalyptic type scene, you know, maybe a bunch of cars off the side of the road, some military vehicles on it. And start, I still have the headlamp on for the camera. Okay. Yeah, not too bad. I don't think. Oh, actually, I should show you what I did. The image, I cropped it and I just made it as the background. So, as you can see, I'm not going to move the camera because I have it set where I want. And I forgot to turn off the NVIDIA. Let's go back to texture shading. So you can see what it does. It always remains the background image no matter how I move everything around. And what I can do is I can aim at my camera and put my, see how my camera is aiming in that direction. If I right click, it'll let me zoom out. Oop, a little too big there. Alright, so that's about how I have it. Anyways, I'm going to be moving that camera around. So these aren't iRay set up. Let me double check and find my surfaces. They're not. So let me highlight them all. And I think, as I said before, I keep all my legacy stuff like this that's not iRay into shader presets, iRay folder, and then there's my legacy folder. Oh, there it is. I got Flinks all by himself. All right, so I'm using bushes. So there's iRay. So got them all selected. Double tap surfaces. There we go. They're all iRay. Okay, very good. Alright, so I'm going to create some instances of some of these bushes just to go along through here. Maybe pop a couple in the back, some along the front here. Sorry, I'm pausing. I'm trying to think if I should create a ground and then use images on it and then use I can't think what it's called. Let's go over here. Let's go to my scripts. ultra scatter. Jeez, drew a blank there. And then use the ultra scatter to place some, but I'm not going to do too many, so I'm not going to use the time up to create a background image and some textures that have the road and grass, since it's kind of far away and we don't need to see the detail, and it doesn't look too bad. So let's just grab this one. Let's just create some instances instead. So we're going to use instances so I can, I'm not going to do 10 of them, but maybe let's do 4 of this one here. And on these, I'm not going to change their scale. I'm just going to place them back, a little further back so they're smaller. I'll be able to place buildings or something between these rows of trees to give it some more perspective. Oh, there we go. And I do have more trees. Let's vary it some. Let's see what else I have in the runtime. I know there's some nice ones in some of these sets. So let's go into environments and see what I have. Yeah, his trees are a little old looking. They're not, won't fit. Between the forest. Let's see what we got prop wise. Any trees? No, just smaller stuff. Oh, Mossy Hollow. Okay, here's some plants. Let's see what we got iRay plant wise. A little too small. And these are, let's take a look if it's, nah, not enough leaves on it. No scary trees. Ultimate grass and meadows. I don't think I have any, I don't think there's trees included in this. No. Let's see. Nope, nothing. No environment stuff there. Let's keep going through here. Here we go. Anything stonemason, so somehow I have an Admiral's Bridge in my Tango Alpha. I got a ready room in there too, boy. Corridor 7, this thing's all messed up. Alright, well let's see what's, oh here we go, here's some nice trees. You use anything in out of the runtime. Iray, oak. I don't even know if that other tree I grabbed was Iray or not. Take a look here. Yep, it was. There we go. Oh, pretty good size. Let's grab this one. No, it's a tiny one. Here's a group of plants. Let's grab that. Big set of them. It's taking a second to load. There we go. Oh, okay. It's a whole set of them. It's oh, stupid rotation. We can move it further in the back here. Nice. Okay. I may have to move a couple individual ones if it's on the shoulder here. Let's move this little one. Move this little one over here. Put a couple of these back here. So let's do some instances of that tree. Again, I don't want to do too many of them. Okay, so let's go inside here. This first instance, let's bring it back here behind these other ones. There we go. Just behind these ones. Nope, maybe I'll move it forward to hide. There we go, the low. I'm gonna bring one. I want to bring one to cover this part right here. Okay, let's push it back a little. Let's see, we have another one here. So let's let me right there. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Oh, I gotta put the scaling back. There we go, just so we see it. And maybe I'll bring it forward a little bit. Oh, I really scrunched that down, so let's do the whole, I'm gonna scale the whole thing. Oh, I'm goofing it all up. Let me just go over here. There we go. Put it right there. Outside the road. Okay, that's my original tree from that group that came in. Okay, here's another instance. So let's shrink that one down. And I'm going to move it just somewhere over here. Okay, looks good. So I can always add more later. What I'm going to do is, if it gets too bogged down with all this in here, let me create a group. And we'll just call them trees. Alright, and then this way I can just hide all of it if I need to. Let's grab a vehicle. I know I have a nice little armored carrier, or I know I have a Bradley in here. Oh, there's a tank. No, I don't want the tank yet. Maybe I'll add it later. I got a military section. Okay, there. Oh, it's Abrams. I'm sorry. I was thinking. So I got Abrams. Play the wolf again. Oh yeah, I do have a Bradley. Okay, here it is. Yeah, let's add the Bradley. These raw materials. Let me grab the vehicle. Oh, where is the vehicle? I think these are all materials. Oh, here it is. The folders are all messed up. Alright, so... Oh no, these are just the add-ons. Alright, let's find out where they are. Props, DAS vehicles. Oh, they're my runtime, so they're actually in my poser format. Runtime. Props. I didn't get the vehicle moved over. DAS vehicles. What I can't, oh, maybe I don't have, oh, maybe it's under figures. Yep, there. Yep, here it is. Here's my Abrams. Here's the Bradley. Oh, I have this vehicle. Alright, let's add it. Zoom in on it. Let's highlight it and zoom in on it. Okay. So now we gotta add a material, so who knows how it's set up in the old system, I can't remember. So it's not there, it's either a pose or a prop. Jeez. Alright, let's go back to where I was. There's my Bradley. And then somehow there's a helicopter. Boy, I gotta work on this. Alright, so let's NATO do this one here. Okay, so let's go here. It's definitely not IRA, so let's convert it to IRA. I don't believe I have this set. No, I don't. Alright, so let's create a IRA. So Uber base. Okay, it's all converted now. It's going to be reflectivity's up high, roughness too low. Let's bring that up. You can see the grass. We're not really going to see any of this. Let's see how it looks. Make sure nothing's too shiny. We're going to see it from this angle. Scale's not too bad. Let's change the rotation. See how. There we go. Alright, so it's facing the wrong way. Okay, here we go. Move the turn a little bit. Let's see how it looks on the road. Oh, way off the road. Alright, so let's your shade. Nope, showing. So my so it's going to be in the settings. I must have the ground here. Draw grounds on. Everything's defaulted. I don't even know what setting this is. Let's grab environment here. Let's go light set. It's kind of a blue sky, so let's go with this set. Everything is way up in the air, so let's shadowing looks pretty good. Now the shadows are pretty good. Once I went to manual mode, if it's a little too low, if I gotta drop it, let's drop it down. Going down a little bit. We'll see how it plays out once I start adding some more stuff to it. And all that grass right here, don't need. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of the bramble. Don't need the flowers. Don't need the flowers. Don't need the grass. Yeah, there we go. It's way too bright. Change the sun location some. Sun's coming from this direction based on the sun in here, but the image, the shadow of the sun should be coming from this direction. There we go. Yeah, stuff is still up in the air over here. Yeah, that looks good. These set of trees here are too high above the ground, so let me lower them down. What I should have done was just lowered the whole group. See how their shadows turn out. Now you can see the shadows under the tree there look good. Same with there. That one does need to come down because you can see underneath it what's going on behind it. There we go. Alright. So let's add a couple instances of our Bradley. Back here I'll have to add some buildings that are destroyed, and then maybe on this side of the freeway, a bunch of cars like they're escaping something. I have a bunch of low-res vehicles, and then I can just do a bunch of instances throughout here. And then I have a damaged vehicle set. I think Powerages. I can have some damaged vehicles through here. Yeah, here's the low res. Fire police, some trucks, a little bit of everything. So let me just add them all. Okay, here we go. So let me grab a couple cars. We'll just start putting them on the road. Maybe I'll have an accident right here or something where the cars are all backed up. A couple down here on the grass. Tilt it forward for an embankment. Okay, let's make all these guys irate. There we go. Alright, so they're all irate. Reflectivity, let's turn it down some. Bossy. There's really no bump maps to these. They're pretty basic textures. So let's see what we come up with. I think the Abrams are a little too big. I'll have to shrink them down a little because I think they're still going to fit within a lane of a road. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, even from a distance, those low-res vehicles look nice. Good bunch up of them. Back to this one, and let's scale it down. There we go. Oh, I thought I would scale the instance 7%. Let's grab this guy here. There we go. Scaled in. They're a little tiny now. So let's grab all these vehicles, cars. I'm not going to grab the van or the dump truck. Let's group them. So let's do an instance of. We're just going to create a new group, put them all in. There we go. So then I can just hide them all. So let's take another look. Okay, yeah, looks good. Probably, fortunately, man, the car, I mean, you can tell it's an instance because they're doing the same thing, and I'm not going to mess with it because I do want the car here. I could have removed them from the instance, but I can always I'll just truthfully just cheat and Photoshop that out. And then I can do some single cars and do some Photoshop or do some instances of just a single vehicle and just fill these holes with them. Let's go see what I have semi-wise, and then we can add like a jackknife truck right here, maybe in an accident. Oh, there's my Bradley. Breakers, that's the one with the damaged vehicles. You can add those in now, and I can just place them, and I can intermix them with that traffic there. Can't remember where the must be over in his settings because there's this stuff for the trailers, but no wheels, so I must not have moved over when I categorized that group, of course. So his stuff is in my vehicle section. Okay. So let's go to my vehicle section here. Yeah, so there's the trailer. So I can add this semi. Come on, let's add the semi. There it is. Add the semi trailer. And then let's make the semi carrying a cargo container. There we go. Truck to that. Let's put the container on the trailer. And this will need to be converted to IRA also. Mirror glass. Oh, well, we're not going to see the glass anyways. So we can always turn up the reflectivity of the metal somewhat. Give it a little bit of shine. Alright, so we know the road is right there. So we'll put it in front. Alright, so let's rotate it some. So it's blocking the road. No, did it backwards. Let's do the cab this way. And then let's spin the trailer this way. And we'll have to move it because it looks like it's not centered on the pin there. Okay. We can put up one of these broken hunks of car. So if it's might be on the grass, I'll have to confirm when I go back to camera view, but let's rotate it down a little in case it's in the embankment. Okay. You can add one more of those busted up cars. I think in Photoshop I can make this one on fire and have some smoke coming out of it. Get a whole bunch of big accident scene. This crumpled one, maybe we'll stick it under the trailer like that. Alright, let's see how it looks. Alright, looks good. I mean, you can't really see the car under the trailer. Alright, very good. Okay, so I decided it'll be a sci-fi ship coming in and attacking. So what I have is find it here in vehicles. It's the Sci-Fi ship blocks. So what I did was I created my own ship here. I'll call it the Digger. And we'll add it in the scene here. And let's go over here to perspective. And it didn't really save all my add-ons, darn it. Okay, let me get out of here. Let's backspace. Yep, there it is. Okay, so let me turn my background back on. Alright, so let's go back to camera. And basically I just use the engine, antenna in the front here. The, let's see here. So I got the wings in the front. I have these cargo frames right here. And then I added this cargo radiation shield at 90 degrees. So you can see one here and then one here. And on the two sides that are visible to the camera, I added these little thruster things on the end of the two prongs. And then I added one engine way here on the top. Kind of give it that sharp, pointy spearhead look to it. And I think I need to adjust these a little bit. So let's get in a little closer. And let's actually, nope, it's not even lined up here. So let's move it up. And let's, I'm going to tilt it on an angle like this. Move it over so it's touching. And I'm going to do the same with this one here. Alright, so the angle that's looking will probably be somewhat like this angle here. Oh, let's move this so it's touching here. There we go. Move maybe a little bit less. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's go back to camera view. Alright, so there it is, impacting the ground. Grab everything here, let's move it up some. And let's render it and see what it looks like. Probably have to rotate this turret a little bit so it's kind of aiming. There we go. Okay. Looks good. Don't really see top of the engine, so I guess it didn't really need it. And you can't really see that through it, so I may have to rotate the ship a little bit so we can see the little antenna like it's going into the ground. Everything else, shadows, lights up pretty good. Looks fairly realistic with the all the vehicles in the road. I don't see, still goofy, my trees here are kind of goofy still. But it's really less noticeable now that I've added more stuff to the image. Alright, so let's go back to texture shading. Let's grab the digger. I got two of them in here. Alright, let's get rid of that one. Okay, let's rotate it. About like that. Let's raise it. Let's turn on the plane. Raise it up a little bit. Okay, get rid of the plane. Alright, so now it needs some army men. So what I have is we can use, I have low res Lorenzo. Nice, obviously low res, so I can add a bunch of them. Let's find, let's type in low res here, see what I have. Alright, here he is. So he's in my poser format figure. And P3D, I believe. Here he is. P3DA. So let's add the business suit to our scene. Let's highlight them. Let's bring them where we can see it. See how tiny that is? Perspective view, let's find it. Oh, definitely. I don't know what the heck is going on with them. So let's go to our add-ons. I don't really need a hat. Or here, I mean. I want to add a military hat. So he's basically an M4 character. So his M4 poses will work. And any of the props should kind of work. I know I have a military. There we go. What's this one down? Winter. Yeah, we can add this helmet. There it goes. Fit right on him. Nice. Let's give him a pose. And actually, I have a set of poses that are military poses. And I might have it just in my pose form with a folder here. Oh, I lost my database with all my saved directories and stuff. So let's get this started here. CMS started here. There we go. So categories, default, poses by function. Yeah, here we go. Combat specialist. Here we go. We'll give him this pose here. See, yep, there he goes. Looks good. It's gonna be so far away. I don't think I really need a weapon. I can always add it. All right, so helmet's not really sitting on the head too good. Let's move it a little. There we go. Take it down. Okay. Now for the low res, I went and created a array of just everything for low res, all one click. So let me go into people. My low res, Lorenzo. I don't have Loretta, so all I can do is stick with this. So materials, I can pretty much obviously make them all these different races here. Plus I have one click for all the different add-on stuff. So here's business suit. And there's no camo. Yep, and then there's all the different props for the colors. So let's click on that. Okay, give him some brown shoes. Oh, there's some camo pants. Oh, the gray. And let's find the, see if I have a shirt or the jacket, but I don't believe so. No. T-shirt I don't. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll go into surfaces. And let's find the trousers. Yep, there we go. So let's click on it. Browse just to get the, I just want the location of where the textures are. See, here's all the supplied images that come with it. But unfortunately, in the poser format, there isn't material settings or poses that'll create all these different one-click changes to the character. So I went through, like I said, and made them all, which is really nice because it's a real nice character to use for something like this where I need a lot of background characters. So let's open up Photoshop. There we go. And let's just find, so here's his jacket. Do that again. Alright, let's find those camo pants. See them, but Probably just scrolled past it. Oh, there they are right there. Okay. So let's open these up in two different windows. What I'll do is take the lasso tool. Let me get rid of this. Just to get the camo texture. Copy it. We'll paste it over here. Yep. Totally different size. And then we'll use our clone brush. Let's make it a little bigger here. So Alt click here, and then we'll just add wherever the shirt is. Luckily it's camouflage, so you can have a weird design like this. Maybe it's a little too crazy. Alright, that's good enough. And the shirt, we'll just sample this light color here, and then we'll just fill in the white with that gray. Okay. A little too much. Oh, my tolerance is way up there. Let's put it back to default. Yep. Oh, that's why I wasn't in the background image. And that, I think these are the cuffs. Alright, so it's Alt backspace. There we go. Alright, so let's save as. Make it a JPEG. Camo. Go back into here. Let's grab the jacket. Color sleeves. Tie, I didn't really change anything, so we can just leave that the same. There it is, jacket camo. Okay, there we go. So from a distance, looks okay. Yeah, there he is. There, looks pretty good. Oh, I see how he loses his pose when I drag him. Why is that? Oh, strange. Alright, let's get that pose back. When I was in here, I should have checked and seen where the where this was stored. Oh, there's combat specialist right here. Put the mouse over it. So he's saved in my pose combat specialist. So it is in my my library. Oh, it's in my DAS one. Okay. All right, rotation on. So let's add a few guys. Let's create some instances. We're gonna duplicate the main guy a couple times just to vary the pose. 10 might have been a little too much. Now they're all going to move on me because oh, they're not. We'll put him right there. Alright, so let's duplicate him. Lost his pose. Alright, so let's give him a couple of these moving ones. Let's get in there and see what it looks like. Oh, I lost everything because I forgot to duplicate everything. I just duplicated the main character. So let's find him. So I want to duplicate hierarchy so I get the helmet too. So Rotate them the other direction. Stupid thing. There we go. The camera. We'll do some instances. Put them with that guy. Alright, let me save it and then I'll render it again and see how they look. Oh, adding a lot more assets here. Create a new group for figures. Because the more stuff I add, the more chance I'm going to lose my iRay render when all the geometry and the size of the textures get too big for my card. Or cards. I got 3 in here. Okay. Yeah, everybody running. Looks good. Casting shadows. They're kind of light. Helmets are almost too dark. Let's leave it rendering. Let's go with this perspective here and see how they look close up. Yeah, the helmets are just too bright. The lighting is pretty bright also. Let's turn that down. Let's turn down the intensity. Let's go down to about 80. Because even the traffic barrels were looking a little too bright. Pretty bright. Jeez. Just to see what happens. Okay, there we go. So definitely don't want it that low, but let's go to 50%. Yeah, they're looking less bleached out. Everything looks a lot better, except for now the ship is real dark. But colors are still popping along the vehicles. Shadows still look good. That tree I moved is a lot better. Just looking at it, just examining everything. That looks like it's in the ground. I'm going to have to tilt that angle a little bit. Okay, so I want to flesh out some of these vehicles. They're too even. Let's make it a little more chaotic because it was an accident. And because I put this one on an angle, I want to make it look like it's down this embankment here. A couple of these we're going to move. Here, let's tilt it sideways a little. And we'll put it down on the embankment. There we go. And I'm going to add some smoke coming off and maybe some burnt ground. Alright, so this vehicle here that looks the same throughout, I'm going to just copy just this single vehicle here. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to create an instance of it. Back here. Let's get that one. Let's move it out a little bit. That's the hole. So let's create an instance of this one. Okay, looks good. Front, it kind of breaks up the duplicates it. Can't really tell if these ones are too far off the ground though. Let me I'm gonna lower one of them and see, and then re-render it and see if it's too high off the ground, because I'm not really seeing a shadow. I think that's actually from the image behind it. So into this one. And I was also thinking, because all the sand by this freeway on-ramp, it's usually a sign of construction. So I have a bulldozer or something. Let's put that in here and maybe some traffic barrel there. Alright, let's grab this. Let's grab the whole dozer, not the hull. We'll just park it over here. It's not I-ray, so let's and again, let's play with the reflectivity. It's not going to be, bulldozer's not going to be shiny. Alright, so I know I have some, excuse me. Alright, so I'm going to go back to camera so I can place this thing. Yep, everything's on the ground. Probably should move them, spread them out a little bit more. Just didn't really change much for the ship. I don't know if they need to be dropped down a lot more or what. So, but I'm gonna leave them. It looks kind of looks shadowy with the background texture being dark as it is. Yeah, I can see where I brought that tree down. You can see the shadowing. Okay. Let's work on these darn barrels. Alright, so we're talking about a city back there. Well, Phil W has that real good night and day that is low res. He has a few different material settings for it. Now let's just find it. Night and day. I don't want to do a whole scene. Buildings, traffic, low res vehicles, low res people, and settings. So let's go to city blocks. Let's add let's see what we got here. Well, let's just add the first set here. So let's grab the city block here into the distance. And then the bottom part of it disappeared. So it's too low to the, it's below ground level. So I'm going to have to raise it up. Yeah, while I'm in here, all those little people, I don't need them. Road markings either. Nope, didn't even see the trees disappear. Didn't see. Oh. Doing the building group. Advertising did disappear. Street extras we can get rid of. Not seeing the grass disappear, so we can get rid of that group. Okay, let's do this again. Let's shrink it down a little bit more. There we go, so it looks like it's further back. We'll try it again. Okay, much better. Still a little too low. Looks like I'm going to have to raise it up a little bit more. See if it'll let me do it. There we go. So it's a negative, it's down a negative 183. I'll do it. Yep, there we go. Let's click off it so it's not highlighted. So I can see. Okay, looks good there. Probably do another set behind it, just give it a little more depth. Oh, see, these ones are 300. Alright, I see what's going on with the trees, why they're not working. Alright, so let's fix them. Duplicate this one. I got a whole bunch in here, so let's do some instances so we can create multiples. Now I have to figure out why everyone's fleeing and we have military. I think about it while we're converting the IRA, what I want to do. Because I do have some nice beat up cities and buildings. And there's all the trees, shadowing looks okay. Where is that guy? I don't know. This one here should be right in front. It's actually back behind all these trees. So let's move it forward. So Kit Bash has some free stuff that they give away a couple every few months that are just nice examples of what they offer. And let's see, I have a couple of their apocalyptic stuff. Don't like architecture in environments. To me, environment should be outdoor stuff, and architecture in architecture. And beat up buildings, some destroyed stuff. Kind of oh, here's the wasteland. Here's a war zone. War zone. Yeah, let's grab a couple of these. It's going to be kind of behind whatever this building is, so I don't want to be on top of it because you'll see it cut off. A little bit of debris just to break that up, so we'll leave it there. Alright, so I have some knocked it down. It's from a nuclear pack of items, and it should be in my buildings, my exterior building stuff. Shattered Worlds, that's it. So I created DAS versions for me. Alright, that's way too far in the back, so that's not even working. That debris don't look too bad there. Let's bring it in the foreground, right behind the trees. As you can see why it's not showing up, it is way in the back still. So it's in the correct spot. It's just scaled too big. I want to bring it down a little bit more. Still pretty darn big, isn't it? Okay. It should show up. Okay, looks good. You can see it kind of beat up back there. And while it was getting ready to render, I was looking at the road, and there's these artifacts right here. And I noticed there's no street lights going down the road. I'm wondering if these two things were street lights that just didn't get picked up in the, by Google. And I'm gonna find a couple. I'm gonna find my street lamps and place a couple here. Looking back here, and you can't really tell that the building's beat up, but it's kind of transparent. It looks okay. Definitely can tell these two are beat up. And the rubble, well, you see rubble, you can't really tell what it is. It almost even looks like it was part of the original. Actually, there's something right here too from the original image. We'll leave it. These ones here must have to go up because, or come forward some. The original image, somehow I'm going behind the image. I don't know how. I think it's because I'm too low. I have to come way forward and then raise it off the ground, which then affects the shadowing. And looking at this, just the resolution, it almost looks like tracks in the ground. And I'm almost wondering, I could probably add a tank right here and make it look like it left these tracks in the ground, in the dirt. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to do the street lamps first, add a tank here. I don't know where the darn things are again, so I think it's in my props. See what that looks like. Yeah, that'll be fine. See the mesh, the normals are flipped so you can see inside of it. It's created. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to convert it to Iray 2. Okay, let's rotate it. Rotate it. I think the gun tilts up. Yep. So let's elevate it. And I still have to think of why this is happening. Okay, looks good. Street lamps look good. I think I gotta rotate them. I think I have those facing the wrong direction. And looking at it, I think my bulldozer's a little too big. And I think the Abrams should be a little bigger. I really don't know what the scale is of from a Bradley to a tank. I think the tank's going to be a little bit bigger than what it imported as. And I think the bulldozer's a little too big. It looks twice as big as, well, I guess it could be a large bulldozer, but I don't think it'd be any wider than a single lane like this wide. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I am going to increase the size of the tank a little bit. The light, so the bulbs are actually hanging over the road and not over the center median thing. And these trees do annoy me though. Is create a plane just to give me something to work with. Let's make it big. Don't need too many divisions because I'm not really going to render it. There we go. Alright, so that'll give me where everything's setting. Alright. And let's make it a little bit opaque. So I can have an idea of where everything is in relation to the ground below it, or the image behind it. See this one here. So I think I'm going to, I really think I may just leave it like this and just leave it up to the viewer's imagination as to why these vehicles. Okay, so looking at the digger, the hole's pretty dark and it's really hard to see, so let me go into shaders here, and I found I had this Metal Abounds, this light plate looking shader, so let's apply that to the ship. Now I only have these on two sides, and you can kind of see this other side has nothing on it. So what I'm going to do is grab the shields. I think it's, what is it? Yeah, here we go. The radiation shields. And let's see, the gravitrons are connected to it. So let's parent that. And we'll parent that one. And I'm going to rotate it around. So, oh, did the wrong one there. Oh, there's the extra one. It's on the wrong shield. So let's move it down to this one. There we go. So let's rotate it here. And let's rotate this other one. There we go. See how it looks from the camera angle. Oop. So this one looks okay, but I'm going to have to rotate the other one. Yeah. All right, there we go. These have the hull. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think I can get away with that. I would like to add some more lighting around it. It has, just the little dots here. I'm going to add just a primitive, and it's going to be like the Taurus. Get it up, and let's take it over to the ship. And then I'll scale it and then add the lighting to it. And it should be way out there. Perspective, let's zoom in on the Taurus. Alright, let's edit it around some. Let's increase the scale. I want to decrease the height of it. Spots. just so it lights up the whole hull some. There we go. Oh, do I want to change the torus? There we go. So let's take the lighting from this. And let's copy the selected and let's go back to the torus and see if we can't apply that. Yep, there we go. So it's got a nice glow to it. I'm going to add one right up in here. So let's duplicate it. Scale it down. It's a little bit off. Well, because it's kind of square, so it's not giving me a perfect round portion to wrap it around, but that should be good enough as long as it can be seen. And bring it out this way a little bit. Let's go to camera view. Okay. Now I'm going to getting close to the. I want to render soon, and I think anything else I can do in post. Find the camera here and turn off the headlamp. So that's basically what I've added in black. I wonder if this debris can do anything in this area here. Alright, let's go back to what I was doing. Alright, so, okay. That one doesn't seem, I don't know, I'm gonna change the color of one of them. See, let's go to a red. Wow, raise it up. Let's click off somewhere so it's not selected. Alright, that looks okay. So that's not being lit, so it must be an overhang and the light's going around it. It's not lighting up any, so I'm going to have to change the location of that torus. Let's go to perspective view here. And take a look and see. Oh, yeah, you can see how it's kind of box shaped right here, so the light's not. So we're going to have to scale it. Well, let's get out of this. The bump's too big too. Okay, torus, let's scale you. Oh, wrong direction here. Because I kind of want it to be able to light up this face here. Okay. I'm going to increase that scale a little bit. So the tiling, I'm going to up the tiles to, say, 5. Make it a little bit smaller. For some reason I'm missing this portion of the. There it is. I didn't grab that. There we go. Okay, so it's tiled a little bit better. That main portion, this one here, let's go to 6. Okay. Now I'm going to go through and grab everything again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the bump. It was kind of high. Oh, it's only a bump. Okay, so we only have the normal maps. Let's cut it in half. Go back to the camera and we'll render again. Alright. Okay, the two toruses are a little too bright. I'm going to knock down their emissions, how much light they're luminance. Okay, so it's in kilometers. So let's not quite take almost a half. All right, so there we go. It's still kind of bright. Knock it down a little bit more here. Because they're low res, there's really not much editing to do on the vehicles. The only one I could really do is this truck. Is maybe open the door like the driver got out and ran. Open. I'm going to clump up some of these vehicles. One over here. I'm going to bring up front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple renders. Okay, here's the rendered image. Got it open in Photoshop. And it looks pretty good. I'm going to do a couple things so we can edit it. And first I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of the layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a smart object. And I'll show you why. So I'm going to go in and add atmosphere and edit the image with my knit collection. Okay. So what I have is gradiated fog. So kind of in the distance looks kind of foggy. Merging the horizon, I'm going to add some smoke in here to give it a little more depth. And then what we do is just work on a little brilliance and warmth and bring out the natural colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply that. So as you can see, it created a smart filter. I'm going to show you. There we go. So I'm going to turn that off. Oh, and now I can't turn it back on here. It's going to take a second because it has to undo it. Alright, so I turned it back on. So now, if I was to edit this image, I'll give you an example here. Let's just grab black, and let's just grab a brush, and let's just create a new layer. See how it's kind of on top there. So let me undo these changes here. Alright, and you can see it was the dark on top of the fog effect. So now if I go in here and double click on here, so now it opened up a background copy. So now if I add the leaves there and I save it, if I go back into now if I go back into here, see how it's now the fog effect affected my my leaves there. So what I want to do is I want to edit this original image and then have the effects I added here to affect everything I added. And unfortunately, I don't think it'll let me. Oh, there it goes. It will let me step backwards. Okay, so let's work on this image here. And I guess the first thing is I want to add some burn marks, or you know how the ground gets darkened from, say, fires, and I'm going to have a little bit of smoke. So I'm going to switch over to, I'm going to add a new layer here. Now, before I save anything I do here, I'm going to have to flatten this image and then go into here and see my effect. The other way would have been to do everything, flatten the image, and then add my effects. Now I was just trying this way to see how the workflow goes. So let's get in here, let's check out my brushes and see what's something decent. I do want steam and smoke, but I'll have it across the horizon and on the buildings, and maybe add a little bit on these cars. I don't know if I don't want any flames, because then I'll have, or at least flame brush, because then I'll have to do more work to color them, where I can just open up a package I have that has flame and actual smoke from fires. I'm trying to think what I have that would just, I don't know if a splatter. would be a good one for the ground. So I'm just going to quickly brush out on the cars, erase over the cars here, just so. Another way I could have done it was just using the magic lasso and surround the cars. But if I'm a little imperfect with it, it's just fine. Grab this section here. There we go. So let's edit. Let's go and do some warping here because I want to give it a little bit of an angle so it looks flat on the ground as compared to the way I had it where it kind of looked like it was standing up. Now I'm going to smudge this section down here. Alright, so let's add a little bit of smoke in here. Let's open up a package that I have. Keep everything add-ons in a Photoshop folder so I can quickly find it. And I believe it's going to be my war elements here. And it's not. It's going to be explosions. Here, I'll come back to it for back here in the buildings. Maybe add a little bit of flame. Kind of got a sharp edge here, so let's just feather it out some. There we go. And I'm going to add another layer of smoke on there, a little bit darker. Move it behind the first one I did. There we go. It's a little too light, so let's do some adjustments on it. I'm going to right click and I'm going to make it a clipping mask where it only affects the layer below it. I do want to move it a little bit to this front vehicle right here. So I'm going to merge these layers down. Now I want to merge visible. Now I want to leave that. Alright, so now let's merge visible. Turn that back on. Turn this back on. Alright, now I want the ship in the back here to be like laser light coming down into the ground. Alt backspace here and fill that. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's open up like a lens flare. This flare pack light was a free one. Like that. A little bit smaller. Change it to a screen or an overlay. Let's see. Adjust the colors because I want it maybe a little more yellow. Clipping mask so it only affects that. Colorize it. There we go. Didn't even have to do anything. There we go. So I think this is my, make sure I didn't add it to the layer with the smoke here. Let's turn it. Okay, good. I created it. I remember to create a new layer there. I want to make it a little glow. I can't remember which. Let's do it a little differently then. Let's add a little blur to it then. Okay. Now I'm going to add some smoke and around this. Don't need that. Let's go into here. Let's see how this looks. I don't know how much detail it'll actually have because it's so far in the background. Oh. Forgot to select the select it here. Now I can copy it. Let's adjust the size here. Yeah, it's a little tiny. Put on top here. Let's get a brown going here. Okay, now that just ages the image. Steam and smoke. Let's see how this one does. Trying to adjust the brush size. Hit it a little bit. Let's darken it up some. Alright, so I added a little bit. Not that impressed with it. Layer, let's see what else we have. Let's see if there's a version that is, no, coming up the opposite. It's not letting me change the, come down the size here. I'm just going to turn down the fill a little bit, make it a little lighter. Okay. A little more effects. Let's do some over here with the buildings. I'm going to open up my fire one. Copy that. Come back over here. Get down. Needs to be shrunk down. Now I'm going to come back to smoke here, and there's another, this lighter one. This will allow me to place it over the flames, give it a little depth. Yeah, look better without it, so I'm just going to get rid of this and the flames. Let's put it behind it and bring it down a little bit so maybe we can just catch the bottom edge of it. There we go. Alright, that looks good. So let's add a little bit of smoke for this one here. Definitely doesn't look as good as the other. Add a little fire underneath that one too. These are more for close-ups. Be able to get away with this one here. Let's do it right there. And what I'm going to do is get rid of all this here. Definitely slow. Go to the background. It's still processing. Now doing it this way, I'm finding it sure is slow. Amazingly slow. Come on. There we go. Boy. Create a new layer. I'm going to go back to white. Smoke, and that's what number 2 is. Nah, it's too wispy. I have another smoke one of his. Another layer. Let's pick a different smoke. Looking for something a little more horizontal. I'm going to erase it around the trees here. So let's do the magnetic lasso, the main image. This section right here. There we go. I'm going to subtract right in here, I think. These two back on. Let's highlight this one and delete. Delete. Still a little rough. I think what I really need to do is just come across, rid of the smoke. Because I want it more on the horizon than far down into the image. Kind of air right through here. I'm wondering if I can steal some of this here and put it over here just to break up the edge here where the buildings are touching the ground. Get our clone tool. This one here. So we'll add a little bit through here. So I have a little bit of a debris brush I saw. Maybe have some, we need some debris coming out of there. Let's go back up, create a new layer. Here, dark and dirt and particles. Brush a little smaller. So tiny it's hard to see. Looking at all the smoke, hopefully I believe it's going to need a little bit of, I think it's going to need some fire under there. I had this layer turned off, I'm trying to see what it is. Right here. And it kind of looks like it's going around the hood there, so that looks pretty good. And I really don't have too much more to do. I don't want to, yeah, I have no idea what else to do, really. They're not shooting. I'm not going to have any gunfire from them. Oh, that's right. I did want to change these vehicles a little bit, just so it doesn't look like it's duplicating going down the line here. And being white might be an easy way just to change their color. Have our background. Let's Kind of want to see if these layer effects would do anything, but they're not. Just go back to normal. Just the coverage. Okay, so it doesn't stick out. Let's do this again. Created a couple PNG files of, I think, the Hunter Killer ship, and wonder how they will look if I add them as the background. Let's find it here. Oh, I did it as a JPEG, darn it. I'm not sure what I did. I just wanted to duplicate this. Get rid of that. Actually, I did need that new layer. I'll put the layer below it. Go back down to the low tolerance because I want to. I forgot what the command was for deselect. Alright, so let's try this again. Oh, darn it. Okay, there we go. So let's invert it so we copy just the ship. Let's copy it. And see if it's even worth having in the image. Not bad. Okay, let's do I did another one of on the other angle. Save it. Let's open up that one. Sure if it was needed. Nah, let's get rid of them. Alright, I'm done with this. So let me flatten this image. Now we have a flat one. So now I'm going to close this. Alright, so I'm going to save this. And what it'll do is it will update over here. And we'll see if the previous effects make the image worse. It's a little bit of depth. I don't know what this layer is. And it's hard to tell, but it did break it up. Laser's not that bright. You can see the lens flare a little bit. I really like to get a little brighter. I think I'm gonna have to go on top of it. Alright, so I'm pretty much done with my idea of just seeing if a Google map can be edited with 3D objects and making an original image out of it, and it seems to work. I wouldn't do this again, but I was curious to see if it would work, and it does. And I'm gonna just make it a JPEG. That's it. Alright, thanks a lot for watching.